So you want to live your best possible life, but you don't know where to start. Or maybe you're feeling overwhelmed. There's a tool that I want to introduce you to, and that is the Life Audit. The Life Audit is a simple, fun process that assesses every area of your life and helps you get clear on what needs to change for you to live the life that you actually are excited about. So let's get started. Right? There are about 8 key areas of your life, but you can modify these however you see fit because it's your life. And these are your mental health, your physical health, your wealth, your family, your relationships, your career or your vocation or your impact, as well as your environment and your spiritual health or your fun, right? Whatever you choose to make that be. Now, when I teach this exercise, I actually encourage people to just add your own depending on what you care the most about. You can even skip sections. But here's how it works. So there are two ways you can do this. One is you can find the life wheel. There are lots of these online. I'll put a link to one down below as well. And that is cool because it flares out, right? So you have all these key areas. And what you do is you color in your level of satisfaction on each of these. Sit down, be honest with yourself, take a few deep breaths. How satisfied am I in this area of my life? The other way that you can do this is grab a piece of paper and you make a table with each of these, number the top 1 to 10, and just fill in what level you're at. Are your finances at a 10? Awesome. But maybe your relationships or your career is at a 3? Okay, now we have a clear visual indicator of what we need to work on. That is the first step. And we're going to save this piece of paper or this digital version of it that you created because we're going to come back to it afterwards, right? So for each areas of your life, you ask yourself the following questions. What's working really well in this area? What's not working really well in this area? What would the perfect or ideal or a version of this area that makes me really happy look like? And then the final and most important question, what is stopping me from doing this? Now, I love the Life Audit because we live in an age of overperformance and perfection. We're constantly saying, I just need to live my best life possible now. And we're so impatient, right? But when we do this exercise, we might realize, okay, actually, my relationships are solid. I don't need to work on improving my relationships. Or my family's great. I don't need to focus on that right now, right? So you've immediately checked a box. And your brain loves nothing more than checking off boxes. You get that hit of dopamine, you feel good about it, and you're like, yes, I show up really well in the areas of career and finance, but maybe I need to work on my relationships, right? So then you go in and you ask yourself those questions, right? And with that last question, like, what's standing in my way? You are identifying what it is that's bothering you. So I'll give you a really simple example from my life right now. I think I'm doing well in my career. I'm doing okay in finances. Family, all that is great. However, my environment, I just had a shipment of my stuff come in and there are boxes everywhere. And yes, I know it's a process to unpack it. But if I'm being honest with myself, these boxes standing in the way of me coming to my office every day are bothering me. This is a small friction point. And so I know I have it on paper, I have it in black, white, and color that if I move these boxes and deal with that mess, I am going to feel happier in my everyday life. Now, again, this is a simple example. So if, for instance, you are struggling in your career and you feel like you're not advancing, you're in the wrong field, when you figure out what it is that's stopping you, you now have the entry point to making that improvement. Okay, I feel like I'm falling behind. That tells you that you need to set aside time to learn new skills. Or I feel like I'm not being recognized for all of the work that I do. Okay, now instead of just sitting there and carrying that feeling, which again, when we feel, even if it's sort of subconsciously or it's not in the front of our mind, when we feel that way, it drags down our body, it drags down our joy, it drags down our optimism, and our body starts reflecting that back to us. You now have an entry point and say, I need to find a strategy to get my work recognized for what it really is. And I can tell you from personal experience of working with tons of women and a few men actually too, is that nobody has ever come away from a life audit feeling the same way about their life they did before. They usually feel better about some areas and they're really proud and their body gets this big hit of energy because they're finally recognizing that they've done so well in some things. And they also have a clear point of entry a clear strategy for what they need to do next to level up all areas of their life. And what's really fun about this process is that you start improving, even if you're just making small improvements and maybe your environment feels better, or maybe you've dealt with this problem in a relationship. When you start improving these areas of your life, it energizes everything else. You drop that negative feeling that's secretly sucking out your energy, and it frees up more energy to do the things that you're passionate about. But again, the problem is that most people are unclear about where they really are with their life satisfaction. And the second thing is we don't have a clear plan on how to start. So by doing this simple life audit, which may take you 30 minutes to an hour, you can get a level of clarity that months of talking to somebody might not provide. So try it out for yourself. Let me know in the comments what you think. And if you are dedicated and excited to build a life that you truly love, follow me because that is what I teach.